everybody. Quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. A weekly, well, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but this is a weekly podcast where three guys, me and this guy being one of them, talk about cartoons. Actually, tonight it's only two of us. I know this is weird for anyone who actually listens to us, but this is Andy doing the introduction.
I'm JD. I usually introduce this show, but I told Andy to do it this time.
I know, it's weird. I don't feel right. And I don't feel right. I don't feel right not being able to get mad at Kyle for taking...
Yeah, Kyle had some family business tonight, so he's not with us.
Nothing bad, so don't worry.
No, he's I think literally his parents wanted him to go to dinner with him, and we are not... if not supportive of family obligations.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to start pulling like, come on, man. Band first.
Band first, man.
I've been in a band with people like that. It sucks.
Jesus.
So anyway, tonight, since it's just me and JD, we're going to do what we did last time we were down a person, unless it was a show I wasn't on, where we decided to bring in a guest reviewer. I guess we couldn't find one last minute, and we couldn't probably find a subject matter where the creator will, for some reason, see the episode and decide to talk to us about it with me not involved. But, oh, I haven't forgot that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't make me sick, did you?
No.
But anyway, getting back to what we were doing, we are going to do an interview show, much like how JD interviewed me. I will interview him. Which will probably work out pretty well, because even though we've done this podcast since middle of last year?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was during summer or spring or something. We didn't know each other before that. We actually met through Kyle. I listened to you guys on the show, and then you guys decided to have me on the show.
Yeah.
And from there, a friendship was born.
A beautiful friendship.
So, yeah, this will be pretty cool, because besides your current work, I know very little overall as far as your, influences and all of that. So I think this will be kind of interesting for the viewers. All two of you. I think there I'm highballing it.
Yeah.
But either way, this will be very...
Hey, they are beautiful listeners.
Yes, they are. We appreciate every single listener. So we apparently need to get our iTunes fixed.
Yeah, I keep meaning to do that. Okay, so if I give people the iTunes feed, you can get to it. It's just for some reason, if you search it in iTunes, it doesn't show up.
I've noticed.
So I mean, it's there, but you can't look it up through the search function. So yeah. We'll get on that.
We'll fix that eventually.
Maybe this weekend.
Maybe. So I guess we could just start getting right into it. I guess smartest idea is to start from the beginning. When did you first start drawing?
I mean, I've been drawing since forever.
Don't tell me you've been drawing since you were an infant, because that's not possible.
No, kindergarten is as early as I can remember.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I remember I did this... It's such a stupid fucking thing.
You were a kindergartner. We're not going to judge you that hard.
No, it's just, I did this stupid painting of a frog, and my teacher was all like, "Hey, he already has a good handle on three-dimensional space," or something along those lines. And
wow.
I don't know. I might actually still have that somewhere in a box. My parents kept everything, but I
mean, that's kind of awesome. I mean, geez, my kindergartner teacher, I think she was just happy I wasn't I think she was happy I actually did something.
Yeah.
Mr. JD, I've known about three-dimensional space, and
I didn't fucking know what three-dimensional space was when I was 6.
JD created his own artistic concepts at the age of 5.
Oh. Well, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've always drawn I don't really know, like, what caused me to start drawing. I just kind of did. I used to get in trouble a lot in elementary school. Even all through school, I got in trouble because I was doodling in class, so.
The common pastime.
The common pastime.
No shit.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, you either that or listen to your teacher, and who wants to?
Fuck a bunch of that.
Yeah, really. When am I going to ever need to know about the Civil War? Unless I'm on Jeopardy.
Not in my practical everyday life, but,
Okay, I guess you got me there.
Alright.
So let's see, I guess, going on from there, when did you decide to kind of take art? Because I think out of the three of us, you kind of have I think you and Kyle, I'm just kind of the hobbyist for the most part. You guys really do want to get into animation. When do you think when did you decide I want to be a cartoonist, an animator? Like, when did you think, like, oh yeah, I would love to do this? I mean, we all have that dream as a kid probably to, kind of go with that. But what do you think was, like, the point where you said, I really want to? Because you have a bachelor's, right? Or do you have a...
I do have a bachelor's degree in digital art. My school, unfortunately, did not have a proper animation degree, but I took, like, every animation class that my college had.
Like you do.
Which sadly left me kind of underprepared for the actual industry, because they don't, prepare you for that, but, I'm working through that. But in terms of, like, knowing I wanted to be an artist for, like, a living, I mean, I knew pretty early on that I, like, because my dad and I would always, like, watch Nickelodeon and, together, because he really liked all those early Nicktoons, like Rocco and Ren and Stimpy, and we watched the Animaniacs together, so we kind of bonded over that a little bit. But I knew kind of from an early age that, like, I always thought it was cool, that, like, actual people made these cartoons. Like, there were actually people behind it. I think at a young age I didn't really conceive that, like, okay, that's a job you can have. I don't think I learned that till, like, middle school-ish.
Yeah, because as a kid, a cartoon is a cartoon. You don't stop and think, like, this was a group of people or a team. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was probably sometime in early high school, like maybe freshman or sophomore year, that I like kind of put my foot down. I'm like, this is what I want to go to college for. I know that's a thing you can go to college for. So yeah, it was probably about freshman, sophomore year in high school where, like, I decided, like, I want to go into animation as a career.
That's pretty cool. So I think that's really cool that you and your dad. Like, because I know we talked about it when we were talking in our the Lost episode, the Peanuts review.
Right.
I know you were talking about how your dad was, like, a huge fan of Peanuts.
Yeah.
And he got into this. That's pretty cool that you and your dad would, like, he would watch cartoons with you. Because I think I think a lot of parents end up watching cartoons with their kids, but he sounds like he, like, actually enjoyed it.
I mean, it really depended. I mean, I think he liked Ren and Stimpy and Rocco and Animaniacs because
there were references he could get.
Because as we've gotten older, we've realized, like, there's a lot of adult humor in those shows, and I think that's what my dad kind of latched onto. But that's not to say he didn't sit through some serious shit.
All parents do that.
I mean, this man took me to see Pokemon, the first movie, and the Rugrats movie in the theater. And he's a brave... Actually, he also took me to see the Aqua Tea's Hunger Force movie in theater and sat through the whole thing with me because he didn't want me to go to an R-rated film by myself.
God, what was... like... Well, okay. That brings me to an interesting question. So, you're fairly younger than me. Like, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, so I've got about...
Recently 25, yeah.
Okay, so I've got about 4 or 5 years. 4 years.
Wait, I thought you were 27.
I'm actually 29.
Oh! Okay, then.
No, I'm 28. I'm 28. I turned 29 this year. See, this is why age, I don't really... but no, I'm 28, so...
All right.
So, God, how old were you when the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie film for theaters came out? Or
let's see.
old enough not to go, like you were old?
It was
Yeah.
it was definitely in high school. When did the Hunger Force movie come out? Hunger Force movie came out in 2007. That would have been my junior year of high school, so I'd probably be 16 or 17 when that came out.
Wow. And how did your dad react? Finishing that brilliant movie.
I don't think my dad really had seen or knew of Aqua Teen Hunger Force going into it. I think he knew it was a thing, but he'd never actually sat down and watched it. So I'd asked him, and it was like, hey, I want to go see this movie. It's an R-rated film, so I can't go by myself. Would you mind just buying me a ticket so I can go? And he's like, oh, no, I'll go with you. It's fine. And I'm like, all right, I'm just warning you now. It's probably not going to be your cup of tea, but God bless him. He sat through the whole thing, and he was a pretty good sport about it. Because at the end, he's like, that was a thing. That was bizarre, but,
You know, that's a sign of a good parent, not to mention a supportive parent when it comes to animation, when they will... That's a pretty broad spectrum of movies that he has as an adult. Because, God, when I worked at Best Buy, I had a lady complaining that she had to go take her kid to go see the Avatar movie.
Wait.
The Last Airbender movie, which...
Oh, that poor woman.
I know, which was a piece of shit, but you sit through it for your kid.
Ugh. Spare your kids the travesty.
Well, you're a kid. You don't think...
They're here and they're there now.
you don't think about it. That's pretty awesome that your dad... Now, I noticed we're talking about... Did you have... how did she feel about... Like, was she... I'm sure she was supportive, otherwise I'd be surprised if you had a degree and were able to go to school for it.
So, this is kind of an interesting family story that I didn't learn until years later. I guess my dad really wasn't, too supportive of me going into art as a career. Mostly, I think his concern was that, I wouldn't be able to make money off of it, which is, for a parent, I could see is a legitimate concern.
My parents were the same. I totally get what you're saying there.
But I never really got that from him, but I guess behind the scenes, he and my mom, who... they've been divorced literally my entire life. I guess behind the scenes, my mom was kind of having it out with my dad, saying, you have to let him do this, that's what he's passionate about, you gotta let him at least try, because, I guess the argument was that, and I could be getting this story completely wrong, that I guess my dad didn't really do what he wanted to do for a career. I forget exactly what he wanted to do. But my mom was kind of using that argument against him, that it's don't let him grow up to be just like you, or he kind of settled into a career because it was the safe bet. You have to at least let him try, so, I think he kind of just settled on it as alright, if you're gonna do this, you gotta be sure this is what you want to do, and that you're confident that you can, make a living off of it. Wow. But, yeah, so that was kind of interesting to learn.
That's really cool, though, that, they ended up supporting you. And it's it was kind of good that you had that one side that was, you gotta try, you can't just not try, but you also had that other side that was really concerned for your, your future well-being.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though. I didn't know. I never knew that about your parents. So sorry. Thanks.
No, they're cool people. I've had my problems with them, like any teenager has with their parents. But,
yeah.
But yeah, they've supported me doing art. For as long as I can remember, and they're just trying to look out and make sure that I can support myself doing it. So
that's it. So. Going back on what you kind of would, we were talking about, you watched cartoons. So I'm assuming with your age, you were more so into the 90s era of cartoons, Nicktoons for the most part. Whereas even though I was born at the tail end of the 80s, I still grew up, I would say, probably watching more along the lines of the late 80s cartoons, like Transformers, G.I. Joe, and all that. So I guess my question from there, considering, obviously the difference in styles, who would you say were your biggest influences? Artists you think, yeah, I learned a lot from this guy's work, and so on.
Sure. Well, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show. I'm sure I mentioned it to you and Kyle before. But honestly, my biggest, not just my artistic influence, but just overall inspiration for doing what I do, is the author of the Captain Underpants book series, Dave Pilkey.
I believe you did. I think you mentioned that on an episode.
I might have.
I know we talked.
But when I was in elementary school, that was about when those books started coming out. It was, they're funny, stupid books. I've got a couple of them sitting around the house.
Isn't that still your Facebook banner?
No, I changed it a while back.
I just remember that and going oh yeah.
Right. But there was, in the back of the book, they'd have I think it was in the first book, but in the back it had the little artist short biography that books put it in, and it was funny because his little synopsis is Dave Pilkey drew in class all the time, was always getting yelled at by his teachers for doodling in class, and was always being sent out into the hallway for misbehaving and stuff, and it kind of spoke to me as I kind of grew up, because it's I kind of had the same experience where I'd always doodle in class, and my teacher's always getting on my ass because I was doodling in class and not paying attention, and I kind of acted out as a kid because I was kind of a dick. But I guess knowing that Dave had kind of that same experience as his kid, but he grew up and was able to make this really successful children's book series, while I have no real interest in going into illustration for comic books or children's books or whatever, it kind of gave me the inspiration to, pursue art as a career, because you could take all that kind of ADD,
you had it was sort of a kindred spirit sort of thing.
Right, yeah. I definitely felt a connection to it. And this is kind of embarrassing. I actually contacted Scholastic a couple of years ago and said, hey, if I wanted to send a letter to Dave Pilkey, how would I do that? And they sent me, here's his P.O. box at the company, you can send it, and we send all his fan letters to him. And so, every so often, I'll just, try writing a letter that I would send to the guy and telling him how influential he's been to me, and I just never have gotten around to actually sending it.
I'm sure he probably gets a lot of that, because,
I'm sure.
Even though I never personally got into the Captain Underpants books, I know they're kind of a very big deal.
Yeah, up until, I know recently they had, the final book. I haven't read a book in a long time. I think I stopped around book 7 or 8. I think there's 12 now. But yeah, like you said, I definitely agree that I just kind of felt a little kindred to Dave and his experience, and knowing that even though you kind of a fuck up in school when you're little, you can kind of channel that into something and be successful as an adult. So I guess that kind of pushed me forward a little bit.
I could see that, especially, and I think if you go through, the history of a lot of these artists, I think a lot of them are kind of in that same sort of boat. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, though, because I don't know, I'm thinking, you grew up in the 90s for the most part. I did too, but
right.
It's pretty cool that Captain Underpants, of all things, because I remember as a kid always seeing the, I think I had to have been 8th grade, I'd see those books at, the book fair, and I'd be okay, that looks, that looks kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I'd be taking those books out of the library probably more often than anybody else. So
we all got our.
Yeah,
I gave you the inspiration. So
right.
So I know Butch Hartman seems to be kind of like, at least, and I know you were like a fan of Danny Phantom.
Right, and this is something I've actually kind of corrected myself on recently. It's not so much Butch Hartman that is an artistic influence. It's more Steven Silver.
Okay.
Who did the character designs for Danny Phantom and Kim Possible and Clerks the Animated Series.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for the longest time I'm like, oh, I love Danny Phantom and I love the art style. I just assumed that, like, oh, Butch Hartman did all the characters because it's his creation.
Well, then they have, like, commercials, I remember, of him drawing the character.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure he, like, the main characters he drew, but, like, the whole style of that show, and, you know, like, in Kim Possible and Clerks, you know, Steven was the character designer, and I really like his kind of organic yet angular style to stuff, especially in Danny Phantom. Like, a lot of characters have, like, a really hard edge to them. They have, like, square fingers.
Thick outlines in most
Thick
cases.
outlines, which I do. You know, I kind of draw hair similar to that, where everyone's hair is kind of spiky. I mean, I've kind of gotten away with that and giving people softer hair, but it's like I have a lot of sharp angles to my art style. A lot of the humans have square fingers. I still do, like, the whole like, everyone's, like, outer, more pronounced features are with a thicker outline, but, like, the smaller details, like maybe shirt details or the mouse or something, are always drawn with a smaller line.
I'm, like, going through a lot of Steven Silver stuff, and I feel like it's kind of like when I looked up Genndy Tartakovsky as a kid. Like, I remember being like, wow, this guy's done a lot.
Yeah, Steven's been working in the industry for a long time.
I own an app by him that's supposed to help you with gesture drawing, and I can kind of see...
Yeah, Steven recently has been doing a lot for the art community. I know he does, like, online master classes to teach people character design. And sometime in college, he did, and I think I still have the recording of it on my computer, he did, like, this hour-long, 2-hour, I forget how long it was, basically explaining, like, the reasons you should never work for exposure.
Yeah, that's been a very big thing.
Right, and, I mean, I've never, well, I shouldn't say never, I've never done professional work for exposure. I mean, I've done, like, stupid requests on DeviantArt. It's like, hey, I'm bored, give me a drawing suggestion. Oh, you want me to draw your character? Sure, why not?
Well, that, and you've done, I know you did quite a few things for you take part in, like, art jams for the most part, because didn't you, I know the one that you were in the midst of when I first joined on was, I think, the Rare.
Oh, yeah,
you drew Skeletal?
Spinal.
God,
from,
sorry,
yeah, I think it was like August or September of last year. Someone on Tumblr, or Kyle turned me on to it, actually. Isn't
it someone who listens to the show, kind of, or at least?
I think Dustin listens to our show. He likes our stuff on Facebook occasionally.
I was thinking, like, I thought he was like a ringleader behind it.
Yeah, he was running it. It was basically an art jam of, like, hey, I think it was the time that Rare Replay was coming out.
Yeah, because I bought it. On an Xbox One around that time, and I was like, oh.
Right. But, yeah, he was doing, like, hey, let's celebrate Rare's history, so everyone pick a character, and you draw it. And, like, all the ones I wanted to do were taken, so I just picked someone that's like, you know what, I like Spinal from Killer Instinct. I like the design, so I did that. And then I did,
Oh, you mean Skeletal, because I'm a horrible person.
It's fine.
It's a shame.
And then I did the girl from Grabbed by the Ghoulies, too, which I've never played. But,
I don't think a lot of people played it. It's on my Xbox One right now, and out of all the games on Rare Replay, that is like the last one on my mind too.
Right. And yeah, I've done other kind of collaborations, like in high school, there's this person on DeviantArt who used to hold, like, these fight tournaments, every year.
Was that called the Coliseum?
It was called AFL, the Angel Crusher Fighting League or whatever. But basically, it's like everyone would submit an original character, and you'd be thrown into a bracket, and you'd be paired up with other artists, and you have to draw that fight. I think my third time through, I made it to the quarterfinals.
Wow.
I think I made it to. I think I got fourth place out of like 100 some odd people.
God damn.
Yeah, because I think the first time I put basically myself along with like he was able to like summon like some of my characters through a book, and that was my first round, and then like one of my supervillain characters was the second round, and then one of my I think Rick, my turtle cop guy, he's the one who made it all the way up there. But yeah, I did that for a couple years, but he stopped doing the tournament for reasons I don't remember. But
I mean, that's really cool. Actually, I didn't even see it. It
was fun. It was a little stressful because I was still in high school when I was doing most of that. So like, I'm trying to get this fight done, but I've fucking got algebra homework to do.
Sitting there in class wondering, like, God, I hope I make it. Extra stress on top of being a, you know.
Well, that was actually really funny because I think it was my first year. I had submitted. I think I was in the top 8. I think. And I was just sitting in class because I think it was when I was taking. It's not digital art, but it was basically I was learning basic Flash animation.
Man, you had the good school.
Dude,
better than mine. I guess that's my standard.
I took every art class in high school except for pottery or ceramics or whatever, because I've never been good with pottery.
You didn't miss much.
No, I took ceramics in college and I almost failed that class, but so yeah, I kind of forget where I was going with that.
But you were saying how, crap, I totally... But you were saying how you did, like, or you were, taking all those classes and you were in a Flash animation course. I'm assuming you were getting towards, you were able to, like, kind of use that?
Oh, okay. Now I remember where I was going with this. No, I just remember it was my first year in that tournament, and I was sitting in that class, and I just happened to, like, I'm just gonna sneak on DeviantArt real quick, and, it's honestly still one of my favorite pieces of it's not fan art, but it's like art with my characters in it. It was someone drew our fight, and I was kind of like flipping out about it in class. I was like, my characters look so cool in this guy's style, and
that's awesome.
Because it was funny because he like it was kind of unfair of me because I had like a character and it's like, all right, here's my character, but he can also summon these like 6 other characters, and the guy actually drew like his character fighting all 7 of them.
Hey, that is
good on him.
That is awesome. That is some.
I haven't looked at it in a while. I should go back and look at that. That was really cool.
God, that makes me very jealous. That's pretty badass. That guy. Kudos to that guy for.
Yeah, I wish I remembered his name offhand, but yeah, he's a really good artist from what I remember.
It's really cool. I guess moving on from there, since we're we're talking about your characters, do you have any projects that you're working on? I know one in particular that you are in the midst of, but there's some history behind it. It's Dude, Bro, and Frank.
Right. Okay, so I guess I've never really... I mean, my friends know what Dude, Bro, and Frank is, but I guess I've never really talked about it in full on the podcast. Basically... So just to start this story, it was like February of my senior year, or no, it was my junior year. Well, whatever. It was February of 2014. So, I had kind of just heard offhand, or a friend had sent me this Facebook link or something like that. It was basically our campus newspaper was like, oh, hey, we need someone to fill a comic strip once a week. And my friend's like, oh, this would be really fun if you did this, or something like that. But I'm like, you know what, I can shit out a 3-panel comic once a week. It'd be good practice for me, because it was weird, because I think that was, like, right off the heels of that Steven Silver lecture where he's like, don't work for free, never give your stuff away for free. And I'm like, you know what, I haven't really drawn a comic since high school. I really need to get into better practices. This will be a good way to...
I mean, it was you doing it for a reason. Like, you weren't in dire straits where you needed money, and you weren't like a professional, so it wasn't like you were, oh, I'm going to work for this major company for free so they can screw me over. It's not like you were a Motown singer in the 70s.
Right. Yeah, I was just like, it's like, I know I'm not getting paid for it, but it's whatever. But it was funny because it originally started out, I think they had asked me to, like, okay, we need a comic that we can, like, promote upcoming campus events. And it's like, okay, I can do that. So our campus mascot is a falcon. So I was like, I kind of want to do a falcon character, but I don't want to make it the mascot, because if I do something stupid with them, the university would probably get on my ass about it.
Yeah.
So instead of doing Freddy the Falcon, I made Frank the Hawk. And right. So for like the first couple, like this only lasted like 3 or 4 strips. Because literally the comic started out, it was just Frank. I think the first one, because it was like we got hit with like this massive snowstorm around that time. It was literally just Frank. Like, it's like, I've got all my spring break plans ready, and it's literally him just bundled up on the couch drinking cocoa and watching Game of Thrones.
Dear God, I'm sorry. I'm like thinking like, wow, Game of Thrones feels like it didn't come out long ago. So I'm like, wow, I feel kind of old.
Game of Thrones is like 5 or 6 seasons now.
God, never mind.
I don't watch it.
I don't either. I just know it's like, I worked at Best Buy at the time, so that's all I fucking heard about. Especially when those DVDs came out.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that, because I know you're very passionate about Dude Bro and Frank as far as project goes. It's kind of funny that the character is kind of brought about because of your mascot.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. And it's kind of weird, like, because the dynamic of this idea I've had has really kind of evolved over time. Because it was, I think it was the second or third strip, I'm pretty sure it was the second one, where it was literally, okay, I remember what this was for. I should just remember, there's only like 25 strips. But the second one, it was like, that whole cosplay is not consent kind of thing was going around at the time, and we had...
I think it's still going on.
It's still going on, but it was like really... That was like when it was really hitting its stride. And we also had like an upcoming... Because our campus has like a yearly anime convention in the student union.
What the fuck school did you go to? I swear to God, I feel like...
Oh, that's a story for another time.
Okay, I'm just like thinking like, shit, this is so much happier than my story.
Not really. But in the second strip, I was literally, I dressed, it was funny because I dressed Frank up as Ty from Digimon, just because I could. But it was literally him saying, it's like, okay, the convention's this weekend, remember, cosplay is not consent, and I literally just drew this fat, dude bro-ish looking guy. He was like, I hadn't considered him a character, he's just a one-off drawing I did. And it's like, and he's just hitting on this girl dressed as Sailor Moon, and she just beats the living shit out of him. So,
I love dude bro.
And then it's like, I really like this character, I like the way he looks, and so in the next strip, we had this upcoming event, it was like, it's called like Dance Marathon, where you like, dance for charity or some stupid shit, I don't know. And it was literally like, hey, Dance Marathon's coming up, go support charity, and it's literally just a panel of Dude Bro twerking. And then Frank's like, and twerking is not allowed, or something like that. And I just remember getting an email back from my editor saying, like, everyone in the editorial office is dying from that picture of Dude Bro twerking.
That's amazing.
He's
probably my favorite character here, so it's...
I love Dude Bro so much.
I just love... Every time I've doodled him or something, I just love I think you nailed character design on that character.
He's so simple to draw, but I love him so much.
I just always in my mind he sounds like Muscle Man.
Kind of.
Okay,
he probably would.
That's like the difficulty I had. Like I just keep hearing him going woo.
I mean, he probably would. So yeah, like after that, like those first 3 strips, I'm like, okay, I like this Dude Bro guy, and I want to keep Frank as the main character. Fuck it, let's just pair him up and see what happens. So you have Frank, who is this, like, stick-up-his-ass, really pretentious bookworm, who's always, like, just trying to, get through college, the best way he can, and, like, I think I dropped the campus, information bit pretty early, because I'm like, that's no fun, I'm just gonna do whatever now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, like from then on, I just kind of like, all right, what can I do with these guys? And it just kind of went on from there. And I did it for a good 10 months. I did it from like February to December, which was kind of sad because a lot of those were during the summer when there's no one on campus. But they'd only put out like I think it was like it was either biweekly or monthly, so there was only like 3 or 4 of those published during the summer. But yeah, it was weird. So now I went to I probably mentioned this before. I went up to the Ottawa Animation Festival my last semester in college because it's like, well, I'm almost out of college and I want to the digital arts group went there every year, kind of as a trip. And I went there and I saw all these short films and just like, I came back really inspired. And even there, I started like just doodling new characters. And I kept thinking, it's like, okay, I've got Dude Bro and Frank. I've only got a finite amount of time before I gotta end this strip. I don't have to, but it won't be published in the paper anymore. But I still wanted to do something with them. So, literally, during that trip, and as soon as I got back, I decided, like, okay, what other characters can I add to this? I just started, coming up with different kind of longer stories they could do, like, almost started writing, like, episode pitches.
Yeah, because the character sheets you got, the cast is definitely more than just Dude Bro and Frank. You got quite a few, and it seems like I think you've been working on finishing up the design on another one.
Yeah, like, in the strip, I would have, like, background characters, and I'd occasionally draw, like, another character, but I never developed or gave a name to anybody else but Dude Bro and Frank. So, when I'm currently working on, I don't know when it'll come out, whenever I decide I'm done world building enough. But what was I saying?
I'm not too sure. I was.
Sorry, I do this a lot. I just lose my train of thought.
Okay, this is a safe place.
But yeah, I just I want to do more with them. I want to tell longer stories with them. I mean, ideally, I would like it to be, animated, and it'd be great if it was on TV. Sadly, my conception at this point would, it wouldn't get on TV because it belongs on MTV in the 90s with Daria.
Right.
But I've been adding new characters to it, like, they've got a whole friend group now, they've got, enemies, I've occasionally doodled campus staff, every now and then. keep meaning to plot out what, like, the actual campus and the town they live in actually looks like, because I only have, like, bare bones ideas that I never write down.
Wow. The struggles of being an artist.
Right. Man, world building's a bitch.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Like, it's easy to just draw a character and put them in funny situations, but, like, damn, when you want to write a story, you gotta think of everything. Christ. Ugh. Consistency, man. It's gonna be the death of me.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of artists nowadays struggle with that.
Right. But, yeah, I've got, like, their two best friends that, like, are gonna join them regularly, Lindsay and Kevin. And I'm, like you were saying, I've been currently trying to finish up what their RA looks like.
Well, that, I know I've seen, I don't know if these are meant to be, I'm assuming they are, but remember you were showing me and Kyle some sketches of Frank's, Frank's.
I have drawn Frank's family, so I know what his mom, his dad, and his sister look like.
Yeah, I like how his dad, basically, you envision, because as soon as he said George Lopez, I was like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm trying to be more inclusive, but not be pandering at the same time.
That's
so
a very fine line to walk.
Right. So it's like, I realize that, like, all my human characters so far are all white, but Frank himself is actually half Mexican. So his dad is Mexican, but his mom is American. But yeah, I kind of envisioned his dad being voiced by George Lopez or something.
He'd probably do it.
Probably. What's he doing these days?
I don't think he has a talk show anymore. So I haven't heard from George Lopez in a long ass time.
Oh.
Not that I've ever followed his works.
I mean, I know you guys are close personal friends.
Yeah, he stopped returning my calls. I didn't think that funny anyway, but
I enjoyed his sitcom.
His stand-up was okay. When he was talking about how no matter what, you always have one haunted room in a house. If you have a 2-bedroom apartment, one of those rooms is haunted.
My entire house is haunted if I turn the lights off.
That's terrifying. That is, but we'll have to save that for another Halloween episode. We'll talk about spooky stories.
Spooky stories.
Because me and Kyle apparently don't have very. Is it okay if we tell people that, the news you got today, or should we wait?
Let's wait till it's a little more official, because I'm still not 100% on that. I'm still waiting to hear some stuff back.
We're just very proud of you.
There might be something in the future coming up, guys. I'm not 100%. I can't really say what it is yet, but it's nothing huge. It's just some stupid thing.
It's a cool little thing, and you should all be proud of JD.
Yay. Anyway.
Sorry, but so that's cool. So Dude, Bro, and Frank, that's like your baby. I would get you're artistic. I know you don't if you had that's your project. Basically,
it's my current project. I do have a couple other story ideas that I'd like. There was one I was working on in high school, and I haven't drawn those characters in a long time. But I have this magnum opus idea, but it is so all encompassing that it's overwhelming to work on. So I kind of Dude, Bro, and Frank is a lot lighter. It takes a lot less thought to put into it. So I'm let's just focus on this for a little bit.
You don't want to go for your Lord of the Rings yet.
Oh God, no! God, I tried. It's in high school, I was all gung ho. I was I'm gonna make this to a motion comic or something. I even
motion comic with DLC story segments. Basically, you're gonna turn it into Homestuck just without the shitty fandom.
I mean, I even put out auditions for people on DeviantArt, and I had people ready to go and all right, I'll voice your characters and all that good stuff, and then I kind of felt bad because after a while I was yeah, this isn't happening. I don't have the skill level to do this.
It's hubris, but it's that drive.
Right.
It's why we all learn. We've all done that. God, I know my comic would have. It's lofty dreams of a comic and animations, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't animate on my own to save my life. 2D especially, I don't know how to hand draw animation because, I never learned that. Well, I mean, I can competently animate some things in 3D, Like, I can't do fucking character animation to save my life, because you look at any of my college films, those are, oh boy.
Hey, you got college films. That's more than that's more than I think any of us have had.
Yeah. Those things are a mess to look at.
Well, let's see. Yeah, let's get into some more not off the wall questions. Let's go off the beaten path here.
Sure.
Artist you most despise?
Despise?
Yeah, like, I don't know, just an artist whose work you see, and it just makes you think, like, how did this get made? Maybe despise isn't the right word, but who is an artist that, and we all have those people. There's no way you can say, there's no way anyone out there who is an artist cannot say this, but who would you say is an artist that, like, you see their work, and it just makes you, like, roll your eyes and think, like, this guy.
You see, I'm sure I have one, and I'd have to look into it, but this is going to sound super douchey and pretentious. I don't know. In the last couple of years, I've kind of gotten to the point where I've stopped being angry and envious at people. Like, if I see an artist that, sure, I may not personally like their art style.
So
or
basically,
whatever.
you're not me or Kyle.
I am the only glimpse of optimism in your life.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but you're probably the most approachable.
I will say, if just for the sake of saying something, and I'm not saying it's bad or if you like this, it's bad. I might get some shit for this. The girl who made Bee and Puppy Cat. Natasha something.
Natasha Allegri.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure she's a perfectly nice person. And, her art is good. And I don't know the inner workings of Cartoon Network or Fred Raider, so I can't really say, like, how this all came about. But, I mean, I just saw Bee and Puppy Cat, and I just really do not like it. I know it got a lot of praise when it came out, like, oh, this is so cool, it's so different. And I just didn't like the characters, I didn't like the story, it didn't do anything for me, and, so it's not so much, okay.
Not so much that you despise it, or hate the character,
it's just
but
not.
You just kind of, well, I think a lot of people have turned on that whole fiasco.
And that's just kind of an attitude I've tried to adopt over the last couple of years, is that, like, if I don't like something, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And if someone else likes it, great. I'm genuinely happy if someone likes some piece of work, even if I don't. Because it's like, okay, that's awesome. You get joy out of something that someone made. That's awesome for you and for that person who made it.
It's okay you have shit tastes. They're my tastes.
No. Because God knows I've got plenty of shit taste of my own. Because I think that's the thing. Like, sometimes, I think, honestly, around the time I got with my now fiance, Melanie, I just started to learn to not be as angry about things, not take stuff as seriously. So it's like, and it's kind of in the sense that, like, I don't feel I can judge other people when my taste for art or cartoons or whatever in general, they're pretty stupid most of the time. Like, I like a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah, we all do.
So it's like, fuck it. Like, if you're a brony, whatever. If you like Bee and Puppy Cat, that's awesome. Don't be in my face about it and demand that I like it, because that makes you a dick. But, like what you like. That is the motto I've tried to live by recently. It's like, you like something, good for you. Awesome.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think for the most part, a lot of the hatred for, things like My Little Pony and stuff really isn't the show itself. I think it's the fandoms.
Oh God, fandoms ruin everything.
I really think we should do a show on fandoms at some point, because I think there's a lot of... Let's kick the hornet's nest.
Why not?
I mean, what do we got to lose here?
Bad publicity is still publicity.
Hey, there's a lot of people... Hey, the Dark Side Phil, people despise him, but he's got a following.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
Well, okay, bad example. Movie Bob, there you go.
Okay.
A lot of people hate him, but hey, he's got a book out.
Sure, go ahead, man.
But no. Well, I think we're nearing the end. I don't know if we're on a timer or anything, but I think... What are we at, JD? You've been kind of...
We're about 50 minutes, so...
50 minutes? Okay. I don't want to cut you short.
We got a few minutes, whatever.
Well, I think one thing we should really kind of bring up is, I mean, anyone out there, as far as it goes, we're always looking for people. Like, I mean, you don't have to be someone who worked on something major. You could just, I mean, we really would like to do more artist interviews. We really do strive to I know we kind of slacked off on it in the last month, but after the holidays, it's been a little hellish for everybody.
Yeah.
Getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I actually got a message from one of our listeners the other day, asking us, like, are you guys putting a new episode out this week? I'm like, oh God, I feel so bad now.
That makes me happy, because I'll admit, there have been some moments where I'm sitting there thinking, like, why the fuck am I wasting my time doing this? Nobody gives a shit.
I just do it because I like shooting the shit with you guys.
Yeah, you know, there's always that part of me that's like, people fucking sit on the internet and watch some clown play through Five Nights at Freddy's screaming like an asshole, but they won't listen to three guys coherently talk about interesting subjects. Yes, I'm patting my own back there. But I mean, anyone out there, I really think I would really love to do more of these artist interviews, and I really think, you know, you should get Melanie on here. I think that'd be really interesting.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I totally would want to. Like, I know a lot of her backstory, but I think it'd be interesting to have her talk about that.
And I know a few artists myself. I mean, I guess we just really have to kind of start getting a little more aggressive with, like, hey, you get exposure, but you don't have to do any work for us.
Right.
That alone.
All you have to do is sit here and talk about yourself for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you want people. I mean, if you want to make it and make money, I'm sorry, but you gotta sell yourself.
Right. And I'm not saying you're going to get a whole lot of exposure from this show, but yeah, it's a step.
Hey, 1 fan, 2 fans, who knows? You never know. I mean, but either way, it'd be fun for us. Hope it'd be fun for you. Obviously, you know, I know a friend of mine was kind of uneasy when we brought this up, doing one with her, because she's like, I'm really shy, and I wouldn't know what to say. And it's like, well, obviously, if you listen to this episode and the one where JD interviews me, you can tell we don't exactly... You're not on the Charlie Rose show. I mean, you're not on Behind the Actors Studio. No one's going to pull a James Lipton on you and expect you to go into, like, your psychological profile.
I'll be honest, I've actually sat there and thought about, like, the Inside the Actors Studio questions and tried to answer them.
I looked up a bunch of James Lipton interviews, like, just now, but unfortunately, whenever I think of James Lipton, I think of American Dad now.
Why is that?
There is a character on there, the pirate that runs he has, like, a children's show.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
That's James Lipton, basically.
I did not know
that.
Oh, yeah,
I laughed about it because I'm like, that guy's name sounds really familiar. And I just remember I didn't watch the show religiously, but James Lipton. Yeah, interesting fact about James Lipton. Look up some interviews that he does. Anytime he appears on American Dad is pretty accurate because he's a very professional, soft-spoken, focused man. He wrote the Thundercats theme song.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
like the one from the 80s.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Just think about that. This quiet, soft-spoken professional guy who sits with, like, you know, some of the biggest names in, you know, film and writing and all that, wrote the theme song to Thundercats. And I wish, like, I don't know, if I ever had a time machine, I'd love to travel back in time to see when he pitched that.
James Lipton is now my hero.
I'm, like, thinking, like, what's he sitting there going, Thunder? Thunder.
Thundercats.
And it's like, what?
I don't want to see if he honestly laughed every time he said Thundercat.
I imagine him deadpan as hell, and then it's like everyone's like in the boardroom, like leaning forward, like waiting for what he says, and he just goes, "Ho," and then suddenly it's like standing ovation. That is my headcanon as the kid.
It's like someone just finished an orchestra.
Exactly. Like it's like people are throwing roses, and one of the most iconic theme songs of the '80s history of cartoon history in general was created.
Oh god, I just want to meet James Lipton just to have him like say that, and I want to edit it together so it's like that.
Get James Lipton on the phone. We need a secretary.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'd have him on here every week, just like James Lipton. This show is just you talking now. Just say things.
It's like, tell me now. I have to find some clips from American Dad with
yeah, that's great.
I forget what the name of them was, but sorry, we went off subject. But as you can see, we try to have fun on here doing the interviews. We don't want you to feel like you're under a microscope or anything. Obviously, it's not like we know what we're doing for the most part.
You listen to the show, you know how loose we are.
I mean, geez.
He might be actually loose because he could be drunk.
That's true. I mean, I haven't been drunk in the last few podcast episodes, but that Transformers episode, oh man.
That's like one of our longest episodes, but it's one of the best episodes.
That has the amazing moment where Kyle yells at JD, and I really want to turn that into a shirt.
I mean, if you want to turn it into a shirt, by all means.
I mean, I still love the fact that this show even has a shirt related to something one of us said. I own that shirt.
Breaking Bears, where it's at, man.
No, every chance I get, I wear that shirt. I wore it on...
Oh, wait. No, technically there's two, because Matt made another one where he made the Minions.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
We need to get that shirt and wear it on Oscar night.
That's for we gotta do the Oscars live stream.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I think I already pitched it to you, but we should do like a show on the animated Oscar nominees, since I think the only one that I don't think we've talked about on the show, the only one we've talked about is Inside Out.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I keep forgetting the Oscars is happening because
I don't know when it's happening. It's like sometime in February.
I just know about a lot of the controversy, and I mean, I know Kyle would probably hate to hear this from me, but I kind of get where people are kind of frustrated, just because I totally think Straight Outta Compton should have got some sort of.
Oh, I love that movie.
I mean, that's the thing, and you don't listen to the NWA.
I don't.
You never listen to that ever.
I never went out of my way to listen to NWA. I knew who Ice Cube and Dr. Dre are. I know them. I've never listened to any of their music, but I saw that trailer and I'm like, oh, it looks interesting. I went and saw the movie randomly one day, I was like, it's 11 o'clock. I'm awake. Let's go see Straight Outta Compton, and damn if I didn't have a good time with that.
I mean, that to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm fucking ecstatic that Mad Max got into,
10 different categories.
I know, I'm, thinking, I doubt it's gonna get Picture of the Year, but if it can walk away with one, God forbid.
It's gotta at least win cinematography.
I would hope so, but...
I mean, granted, I think it's going up against Star Wars, but...
I think Mad Max was the more beautiful movie. That made...
Come on, Mad Max is 90% practical.
It's not even that, but it's more so the fact that it made sense out of a 2-hour car chase where you had all sorts of insane shit going on.
Right.
That was the most enjoyable... It's still my favorite movie of 2015.
Yeah. I don't remember what I said my favorite movie of 2015. I probably said Inside Out.
Yeah, that was your
but damn, Mad Max is definitely even coming from someone who's never watched a Mad Max movie in his life other than Fury Road. I'd still say it's in the good top 5 or 10 of last year.
And that's kind of how I feel about Straight Outta Compton. It made the story of the NWA. It made that kind of story where people who never listened to the group, could care less about the group, probably hate rap music, enjoy it.
Yeah, man, I don't really listen to rap music, but damn if I didn't go listen to Fuck the Police after I got home.
I mean, I just think that was pretty cool. I don't blame anyone, because I know the Oscars have kind of pulled that shit before. They were Neil Patrick Harris was making fun of the Oscars last year in February, I think, because he was talking about how, it's Hollywood's best and whitest.
I mean, I've heard rumblings that Chris Rock is going to say something this year.
He might.
Since he's,
I don't know.
well, yeah, I was reading something. He has something prepared where he's going to poke fun at it.
But I mean, it is kind of true. I mean, I don't know. Like, a lot of celebrities are kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, boycotting it might not work, but I kind of understand why people would be annoyed. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. I didn't think there were as many movies, but Straight Outta Compton was a big hit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it'd be kind of nice to see an African American centric movie that's not about slaves kind of get something. It's like, I know, but the truth of the matter is I never took the Oscars seriously to begin with. I forget that everyone does.
I watched it just because, like, I like when they say, this is the best thing, because I'm the kind of idiot who sits around for an hour and a half watching Watch Mojo Top 10s.
Oh, it's hard not to. You let one go, you'll end up.
I know, God, it's like, here's like the top 10 3D Mario levels.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's fun. Here's all the hardest levels in Sonic. Here's all the best shows from the 90s.
Yeah,
and like, I've just lost 3 hours of my life, and I should have been at work.
It's tough to get away from Watch Mojo sometimes. I will admit I've had quite a few of those going on in the back. Top 10 guest fighting game characters. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Oh, I watched that one the other day.
Yeah.
And it bugged me that Pac-Man was, their choice for Pac-Man was in Street Fighter Cross Tekken and not Smash Brothers, but they mentioned Smash Brothers.
I thought it was stupid that Sonic the Hedgehog was number one.
Okay. We probably should wrap this up.
Yeah, sorry.
I
thought it was over.
But, no, I stupidly watched, like, their top 10 Magical Girls, because I was bored.
That was just recommended to me on YouTube. I was looking at it like, maybe.
No, I was sitting through the entire thing. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait. Hold on. Let me guess.
What?
Number one is Sailor Moon.
Right, exactly. Because I sat through the entire thing and I'm like, wait a second. Sailor Moon hasn't been on this list. Fucking Sailor Moon's at number one, right? And it's like, number one is Sailor Moon. It's like, oh, fucking course it is. Not that I have anything against Sailor Moon, but that's like the most obvious choice.
I mean, to be fair though, it was kind of like the.
I mean, it
was kind of the progenitor of the Magical Girl series.
The modern Magical Girl. I did like that they put like an old Tatsunoko Speed Racer era Magical Girl, like the very first one on there. So
was Cutie Honey on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was her.
Okay, I'm content. I was like thinking like Cutie.
Yeah, I think she was in the top 5.
Okay, that makes sense because I love Ghost.
I don't know. But, yeah, we should probably wrap this up.
Well, it was a fun time. I hope everyone out there listening enjoyed that, including the little, it was almost like a bonus episode towards the end there.
Yeah, but, I do want to say just one little thing, to just wrap this whole, thing up. I think we probably touched upon it in, your episode, but I just kind of want to put it in there again, like, if you're a young artist, or even an older artist, whatever, if art is a thing that you like to do, whether you're good at it or not, don't let people try to tell you not to do that thing. Like, if you're passionate about something, whether it's drawing, whether it's fucking whatever you're passionate about, just fucking do it.
That JD might want to rephrase the fucking whatever.
No,
I know. I'm just kidding.
The point I'm driving at is that, it really sucks going. I know a bunch of friends who were like this, who kind of were forced out of doing what they really wanted to do for a living. Whether, your passion will make you money, you can't let that govern your life. So if you're passionate about something, whether you're going to make money or not, just do it. I'm a firm believer. I am not a religious man, but I am very much under the thought that we have a very limited time on the planet, and I don't think we should spend it doing things that make us miserable.
Yeah, that's solid advice, everybody.
So if you're passionate about something, just do it. Do what makes you happy. That is my advice to the world. I'm done.
Excellent advice, and I think a great way to wrap this up. So, I guess I'm going to try and do my best to do what JD does at the end of the show, but...
What?
Well, no, I might as well. I've already gone far enough into this, but if you like the show, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate any hits on Facebook, any hits on our YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter, everything. We're always up for talking. One of the three of us will always be up to respond to questions or even just shoot the shit with everyone. We're very open. And we
posted news articles up on Facebook, so
we finally got back on that.
Today.
Yes, I know. There was a bit of a break there, but don't worry, we're back.
Yeah.
We know your lives were a bit of a void without us. Anyway, I think on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodnight. So, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.